when we think about the design of how we're writing math goals and objectives, when we start incorporating and thinking about the standards of mathematical practice and how we can connect those to the IEP goals and objectives, we're creating a more inclusive IEP where the student and the teacher kind of see a connection with, like, okay, this is what I have to build within the student to build the sense of belonging within that math community. And I have just found with teacher after teacher, learner after learner in this district, when the IEP includes objectives that are connected to these SMPs, it is more relevant. It creates a more relevant math learning for the student and connected to what's happening in the classroom, versus if we get very focused on these discrete skills. Like today, I was working with somebody writing an IEP, and one of the objectives was 10 more, 10 less. Very important skill, but in order to provide that instruction for that student, they were going to have to remove him and provide the services in a pull-out environment, which is fine. You know, some students, that's what they require. He's a 4th grade student, and when you see that discrepant of a skill, if you will, you might have to provide the instruction in a smaller segregated environment. If you have a student in gen ed and they have a skill that is very different than what's happening within the general education curriculum, and it cannot be naturally embedded, that it does create this very disconnected feeling with instruction. And then the question comes up of, you know, well, when am I supposed to provide this instruction when it is so not connected?
Yeah.
But that's why if you build in the SMPs, depending on the student's needs, if you connect them, it becomes this conversation of like, oh, I can do that. Right. So it's been really interesting. And so it's not every objective that I do that. It depends on the student, and it depends on what the goal is, you know, for the student. But it's been one that we've seen a lot of just promising results for programming and making programming decisions for students in gen ed.